Witch.
Oh, aye.
Witches.
Aye.
Ghana lies on the west coast of Africa. As of 2016, it had an estimated population of 28,308,301. It boasts of many beautiful sights and sounds that attracts tourists every year, such as castles and forts, waterfalls, wildlife, palm-lined sandy beaches, meteorite impact crater lake, festivals and derbys. But perhaps the most beautiful and interesting of all these are the people themselves. Not immune to the present and new trends, the Ghanaian youth is prone to accept almost everything modernization has brought. Perhaps one thing bound to remain same for the people of Ghana amongst all these fast-raising technologies is their faith. The major religious sects in Ghana are Christianity, Islam, and traditional African religion. These sects have impact on the Ghanaian in his everyday life that they are almost indispensable in every national discourse. One thing these religions have in common is their belief in God and the devil. In between these two deities is also the belief in other smaller deities deemed to be agents of the two. One of such is witchcraft. The belief in witchcraft and its potency has been a very big part of the Ghanaian faith that some would go every length to find protection against their supposed evil actions. The question, however, remains, who is a witch?
Witchcraft is spiritual activity. It's demonic activity. You cannot physically ask a demon to live. And demons operate when they have a human body. So long as they cannot get a human body that allows them to possess that body, they cannot operate.
My idea of witchcraft means that there's a spiritual realm. All I'm saying is what I've heard, not that I personally believe in it. But I know of its existence in our communities, in our society, and in our culture.
Generally, witchcraft is a perception, but though it's real in the community.
There is a kingdom of light and there's a kingdom of darkness. Witchcraft belongs to the kingdom of darkness. In the kingdom of darkness, there is a hierarchy. There is a well-defined hierarchy. And witches are the lowest part in the hierarchy. Witches are the lowest part. We have three classes of witches and wizards. We have class 1, class 2, and class 3.
Our quest to understand more of this mystery of witchcraft led us to make a more than 700 kilometers journey from the Ghanaian capital of Accra to Gambaga in the north. The northern part of Ghana was all known as the Northern Region until 2018 when it was demarcated into three. The Larabanga Mosque, being the oldest mosque in West Africa, is located in the now Savannah region, west of Northern Region. In the east of the former biggest region of Ghana in terms of geographical size is the Northeast region, which serves as the home region of Gambaga. Now Lerigo is the capital of the Northeast region. Gambaga lies to the west of the capital. The region provides the country with some of its nutritional needs, producing food crops such as yams, brown rice, livestock, poultry, cash crops like kola, shea and cotton. Despite all these, Gambaga remains one of the most popular villages in the north for one open secret. It is the home to one of the biggest witch camps in the country. Witch camps are a safe haven provided for people accused of witchcraft. The accused persons are believed to possess supernatural powers that could pose a threat to the community. They therefore need to be alienated or risk being shunned, maimed, or killed. Before we could get to the camp, we had to obey the custom by going to the Gambarina to seek permission. A small token of gift, usually called kola, is presented to the Gambarina. In the past, Kola nuts had been the main gift presented to chiefs and kings in the north before one would be allowed to make their cases or seek information from the palace. At the witch camp, we met the man in charge of the Go Home project, who outlined the conditions under which an accused witch is brought to the Gambaga witch camp.
Someone is accused of witchcraft, they run here. And when they run, they don't just come to the camp direct. They run to the chief of Gambaga, who has the authority to now bring the woman to the camp. If only her story or what she has seen is genuine, then Gambarana would then let the woman come to the camp here. And that is where my duty comes in. I will then take charge of this woman to know her story properly and to allocate a place for her to stay. The accusation starts at the community level. And there are basic things they used to accuse these women of. They accuse them of, sometimes when someone is sick, mysterious death. They find a way of accusing someone. We also see them being accused as a result of some sicknesses. They often link them to witchcraft. Example is epilepsy. We have barrenness, mental health, and some strange diseases. When they see those things, they accuse the women. They think that it is the women. Someone must be accused for anything. So that is how the accusation starts. And when it starts at the community, if you don't take time, at the end of the day, the one who is being accused, especially in instances where the victim dies, then you are also being lynched.
But one question still lingered on in our minds. Is witchcraft real?
I hired somebody here in this house as a watchman, a day watchman. For some strange reason, when the man entered this house to do his job, his face, his physical face, put me off. But I didn't want to attribute, because people have different faces, so I didn't. But later on, upon further search of the scriptures, I realized who he was. 2 days later, I was asleep here. My sister lives at Adabraka. After I prayed in the spirit for a while, God opened my spiritual eyes and I saw my sister being burnt alive. Normally the witches and witchcraft, they operate between the hours of 11 and 3 a.m.
Onye wali ake mene ayeni lo je ayen. Si wo medi jami ni bi ko me ha acho mu ko aye. E ba je mo ni fe mu. Aba che la ye, si ko je na kai. Ni musle wo jio aye asani ye bi. Si mu a che la ye, wo ka che la ye. Na mo ba sama e bi ne wo ba yi isanie wo ba botemi no ni mo domo ne ke chele aye e ke wona ni ke wona ni sani spiritually alo mumomi ata akwe ake aye ni lo e lenwo ye meni ake ha na mi ko e ke amikwe lele aye ni lo eni ton ake aye lo je aye ka kwe ni je aye ni le mo eto no ni we mo ne yu eyi echile wo be sani wo hinuku ni wo ke fo go mo yi ale ija ke ale gbe ni isa no ni ile kuku ye aye achemo he ni si nnako aye eko ni na aka aye ni nnako eko da
yo aka shi na aye dan shi ni moko ni achela aye mi na ni boni mo aye kaka aye ni pe inale ona inale at the age of 13 years no mi ye odoko official tan ni angme pipe mi ewo wa afunu beni ya na ni jeje efe to mo nyonchele ne jeni amineke eje chuente ni ebagbeshi beni ngoni ntero na ke gbeye ni mo mi ke e ya ni hit ko shue no obeni je chele o na abufe potonu ani na ke ake ayeye
mi aye na ko ekuda shi acho ninu na gbere no ni ji enyo ho eku egbeke koye lo to mo ba no bla ya bi ni edomo shine efe no ko da gbien owe ke awe na no no nwe no de ba ke po peji be aye ko eje aye esumoni oyu ewie mu ni iya we ba ke be aye shimi aye na ko ekoda.
However, the reality of witchcraft in the north is seemingly candid. Accused persons are taken through a process to determine the validity of the accusation.
When you are accused and you run to Gambaga, and the Gambarana realizes that if you go back, they will kill you, he will have to call on us. Then we bring her here, and then we do a follow-up. That is the Go Home project now. We do a follow-up to know exactly your story, where you are coming from. Some of them have been here for several years. We don't get them. We don't even know they are people. So we go there to ensure that we get the people to know exactly what was the cause. And after doing all those things, we try to see if the issue can be settled. If it is settled amicably, then we let them come to Gambarana, who is the custodian, to do something we call purification. The purification is where the community, where a witch, an alleged witch, is pacified. And after doing the pacification, it means that the alleged witch has no powers again, and the communities are ready to receive the alleged witch. We realize that the only way we can help reduce this kind of barbaric act is to go to the communities, to speak to people, to let them understand. And we don't do this alone. In fact, the Gambarana is key in all this, because you can't go to a community to talk to them and they will not see the representative of the Gambarana. That would be like, sometimes we went and we have seen people say, are you promoting witchcraft? And we say, no, we are not promoting witchcraft. We are only trying to protect the rights of these women, and sometimes even little children who are being accused. So we try to educate them not to molest them, not to beat them up, not to abuse their rights.
What seems interesting is that most inmates of the witch camp are women in their old age. As at our time of visit, only one inmate was a man. He narrates to us how he was accused of witchcraft.
One beer ka tripwal lugari ka pamarun chang doachi na lergo ko bakwai ko kuna kabati yana no batu team kaya na bakwai buta uchana ulabna ngoidang ngambara gwata obelabi kadoro wati yeke okot pira alarba kabako so awkaya ne dezo manu mtako pima
Nyumpingwa.
So what is it about older women that makes them prone to witchcraft accusations? To understand this, we visited Accra Psychiatric Hospital.
Health, defined by the World Health Organization, says that it's a state of well-being where people realize their potential, they're able to cope with the normal stresses of life, they're able to work productively and fruitfully, and they're able to contribute to their community. So if you have somebody that cannot do any of the things I have listed, we tend to say the person has mental illness. Mental illness happens when there are changes in the person's thinking, the person's behavior, and in the person's emotions. I'm a health professional. I work in psychiatry. I'm training in psychiatry. I know that mental illnesses are as a result of certain changes in the person's brain, their biochemical changes in the person's brain that are resulting in these illnesses. So I know professionally that mental illnesses are not caused by witchcraft, so I don't have such a.
In our curiosity to know the typical reaction of the average Ghanaian if their mothers were accused of witchcraft, we hit the streets of Accra, the capital.
My great-grandmother, when she was alive, sometimes if you give her food right now, the next 5 or 10 minutes she can start crying and be like, she has not eaten since morning, she has not eaten since yesterday. So I think they have lived too long on the earth. So maybe it's health issues. I don't think it's witchcraft or anything.
I wouldn't believe that, because I think if he or she is really a witch, maybe he probably could have killed me when I was in the womb or something. So basically, I don't think so, because sometimes elderly women, as they grow old, they become like children. So that's some abnormal, behavior, which sometimes doesn't go well with people, and then they turn them to be a witch or something. So I personally, I don't believe in that.
I'll be surprised and I'll pray for her, that's all.
The people who accuse them of witchcraft, will they grow? Will they grow old one day? Or they too, they will grow old. I saw that when they get there, we shall call them witches. Because as for growing, it is part of human nature. We all grow. One day, some of you will be 100 years, 90, 95. The mere fact that you turn 80, 90, does that make you a witch?
Now, how do the women of Gambaga Market, the home of witch comes, think about witchcraft? But though the camp protects the inmates from the hostilities they have faced in their homes at a certain point in time, they might want to go back home, and that's when the Go Home project comes to play.
The Go Home project started since 1996, and their main aim is to ensure that women are reintegrated back into their communities, and to also reduce the number of accusations. We do this on several grounds. One is that we try to educate the women to speak for themselves. If you are accused, you come speak for yourself. And when they speak for themselves, we see how we can help them.
Some of them are simply not witches. They are simply not. They are old people who are poor, who are ignorant, who are uneducated. And that's all. As for uneducated, ignorant, poor people, whether men or women, we are plenty in this country. And that is why education is now necessary. So get the mental health professionals, let them go there, let them examine them, talk to them, interview them. Some of them, all they need is a decent place to live. Some of them, all they need is food.
The Accra Psychiatric Hospital is a psychiatric hospital located at Gambaga, the heart of Accra. And we basically attend to people suffering with mental illness. We have them come in through the outpatients where doctors, including myself, attend to them. If they're asked for assessment, they need to be admitted for further care, we do so. If we can manage them on an outpatient basis, we do that. We offer them treatment. Treatment includes medication. It could include having sessions with a psychologist and psychotherapy. It could also include another form we call the electroconvulsive therapy. We also have the Drug Rehabilitation Center. When we see patients, or I see patients, we send them there for rehabilitation so they could get better.
Notwithstanding, a lot more needs to be done.
Patience with them, and then I just think it's patience they need. Just need patience. Just have to take care of them, and they need patience also.
Maybe kind of help from the family or children will do. Or sometimes maybe the environment also doesn't help the person in a certain way. And then if that happens, if the family, are together with that person, encourage that person, show the person love, I think the person will be okay.
What is worse when you grow old is isolation. We all need social interaction. We all need social interaction.
But what about the inmates? Do they really want to go back home? So how does an inmate get back home even if they wanted to?
The Go Home project will now ensure the accessibility of the community, how we can manage with the woman to get her home safely. And I have been here for the past 10 years, and we have sent about 84 women home who are doing well. And we don't do this alone. We do this with the permission of the Gambarana, and he has a representative, even in the board of the Go Home project. The Gambarana has a person who represents him in the project. The women also has a representative. We have the Siraj. Siraj is part of it. The District Assembly, represented by the coordinating director, is also part of the Go Home project. And we have the Social Welfare Department giving us someone to be part of the Go Home. So the component of the Go Home is so big. And we have the churches. The local council of churches has a member. Then the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, who is the founder of the Go Home project, is being led by a minister. He is the board chairman who is sitting for this. And then we have the Church of Pentecost as a key member because they were part of the formation of the Go Home project. These are all the things we do.
The Gambaga witch camp, it is due to ignorance, it is due to lack of knowledge, it is due to inadequate mental health facilities because they cannot handle them in the communities. So the only way they think they can handle is let us communicate them from the community. But listen, spirits, witchcraft and witches, they are spirits. You can gather them all there. You can gather them up there. If the demon is inside them, the demon will just go and work. You'll go and work. And they normally work in the night, and they'll come back in the morning. That's why they can't get rid of them.
A simple process it sounds like, yet the number of inmates keeps shooting up.
At the beginning of this year, it was very fine for us. We thought we were actually achieving our main goal because they were level of about just 69. But along the line, we saw that the numbers kept on shooting up. So right as we sit today, there are 82 women and 1 man. And we have 32 of the children too.
At the time of our visit, these children were said to have gone to school. It was explained to us that these children are children and grandchildren of some of the inmates who have been sent to help take care of them. The sad thing is, most of these children can never be integrated back into the community due to stigmatization. And so, with some witch camps being closed down and the community still living in the fear of the unknown spirits, where do we go from here?
Say, I am a witch and I born you. You too, you are the daughter of a witch.
Perhaps, with that food for thought in mind, we start moving forward, knowing that whenever you point a witchful finger at an elderly person, you are left with 3 more fingers pointing at your own self in the near future. Fear of the unknown might still linger on, waiting for you.